Are all of my judges ready? And my timer? Let's begin. I am fat. I am disgustingly fat. I am the fattest human I know. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it, for I would probably eat that as well. I have excess poundage all over my body. My wrists are fat. My fingers are fat. My eyes are fat. Can you imagine fat eyes? I am hundreds of pounds overweight. Flesh strips off of me like hot fudge off a sundae. My girth is an object of disbelief to everyone who sees me. Now the listener may ask, are there advantages or disadvantages to being built like a planet? Getting Even, a book collection of Woody Allen's 1960s magazine pieces. Can a cell be moral? Can a cell distinguish between good or evil? Who knows? They're so small. No, my friend, we must not attempt to distinguish between good fat and bad fat. For all I know, if my fat could speak, it would speak of a man's intense loneliness. Every pound of my body wants to be heard from, as do chins 4 through 12 exclusively. Mine is not happy fat, but it is real fat. It is not fake fat, for fake fat is probably the worst kind of fat you can have. Now, let me tell you how it was that I became so fat. I remained skinny until one day, I think it was my 20th birthday, when I was having tea with my uncle at a fine restaurant. Suddenly, my uncle put the question to me, do you believe in God? And if so, what do you think he weighs? I do not believe in God, I told him. For if there is a God, why are there such things as poverty and baldness? Why are our days numbered and not, say, lettered? Answer me this, uncle, or have I shocked you? Dear nephew, he replied, God is not always where one seeks him, but I assure you, he is everywhere. And then he accused me in that cryptic way the senile have. And I've said, everywhere, uncle? How can you be sure of that when you don't even know for sure if we exist? And then he said, God is not always where one seeks him, but I assure you, he is everywhere. With that, he stood, giving me his blessing, and left a check that read like the tab for an aircraft carrier. I returned home wondering what he meant by that one simple statement, he is everywhere. Suddenly, I was optimistic. Everything was so clear. That statement reverberated to the core of my very existence. I went to the kitchen and started to eat. I ate everything in sight. Cakes, breads, fruits, meats, succulent chocolates, vegetables and sauce, wines, eclairs, and bratwursts, totaling in excess of over $60,000. If God is everywhere, I had concluded, then he is in food. Therefore, the more I ate, the godlier I would become. Compelled by this new religious fervor, I glued to myself like a fanatic. Within 6 months, I was the holiest of holies. With a heart entirely devoted to my prayers and a stomach that crossed the state line by itself. I last saw my feet one Thursday morning in New Jersey. For all I know, they're still down there. I ate and grew. To reduce would have been the greatest folly. For when we reduce our weight, dear listener, when we lose 20 pounds, they may be the greatest 20 pounds we have. They could be the pounds that contain our dignity, our humanity, our humor, our love, our honesty. And in the case of one inspector general I knew, someone slightly flabber on the hips. Now I know what you may be thinking. You may be thinking this is in direct contradiction to everything. Yes, everything I put forth before. And what of it? Because isn't life that very same kind of contradiction? Can't one's opinion of fat be changed in the same manner that the seasons change? That our hair changes? That life itself changes? For life is change, and life is fat. And fat is also death. Don't you see? Fat is everything. Unless, of course, you're overweight.